So welcome everyone. This is the another day of Be Agile Scrum track, and we are transitioning into other days of Be Agile Scrum. And today we are heading towards uh, fourth and fifth and sixth chapter to unveil. And while I'm sharing these all with you, let me also start this with code of honor today. Why code of honor? So can someone tell me why code of honor we are repeating every single day? I know every single time I have been talking about it, but would love to hear from you. So anyone, can you just tell why this code of honor is very, very important to go through every single time when we start? Do you
Code of
still?
honor says that we need to be punctual. That is, we need to show up live and show up on time.
Yeah, these are content.
And
Thank you so
uh,
much, Sharda. But can you tell?
so it says what the responsibilities, what we need to do as a student.
Mhm. And
Stay focused.
yeah, so these are content of code of
Mhm.
honor what we are deciding together. But can you tell that why it is important to follow a code of honor?
So maybe because it's like reinforcing our goal of finally getting placed, like helping us to
Yeah,
get there.
yeah, so that is one of the intent behind this. Definitely, thank you so much, Ruby, for sharing. So code of honor can be applied any point of time, not only to this course but to any course, and every time the code of honor changes based on what is your goal is. Okay, so code of honor is required to protect you from differing from goal in a longer run. So that's the core reason behind it. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Let me quickly bring this code of honor in front of you. I'm not sure whether it has been shared with you yet or not. So let me reshare my screen. Is it visible, by the way? Somehow I'm facing some, uh, you
No,
know,
sir.
No,
okay,
No.
okay, no
it's
problem.
not
So,
visible yet, Gaurav.
okay. So let me reshare
Unshare
them.
and share, yeah.
Yeah.
That might help.
Yes. No problem. I'll be able to bring. So just it is taking time. Okay. So yes. So quickly, what I'm sharing is a mind map. You can see here on my screen now. I think the screen is visible. Is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So the very first one is, yeah, as Sharda rightly said, she started with showing up live. That is the very first one. And it says that be on time as well as be punctual and be highly committed. Can one of you tell me why we need to practice this? What is the universal law behind it? If you remember. So the
This is
universe, yes, please go ahead.
Okay. Well, I think this is what we do. One thing, this is how we do everything, like you say.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Sneha. How you do anything is how you do everything. That's the universal law. And how you are practicing over here, there are chances once you get placed, will practice there as well in the corporate of USA in IT, when you will be participating as a Scrum Master or BA in any of the meetings. So the point number 2 is telling you that when you are starting this track and experiencing it, you are also learning it. And when you are learning, you become a student. And when you are becoming a student, you have to become a full stack student who has straight to continue to do all the assignment which are asked to do, and every single one have to. So second one is doing self-research and not only limiting yourself to what you are learning. And I'm really glad to know, seeing your videos like Radha's, Sharda's, and Ruby's, Disha, Prajakta, everyone. I see that you are going back and doing self-research, adding some points in your summary. And third one is repeating what you are learning. Why it is important, we are going to know about it as well. The third code of honor says that taking the full responsibility. When you will follow point number 2, ultimately you will land towards the success. You can definitely take the full responsibility of point number 2 and towards getting placed as well. But when you don't do as well these things in point number 2, certainly you may attract the failure. And until you don't take the responsibility for your own failure, there won't be any point when you can correct it. But that will be the time you can just blame it, all other things. And when you will start blaming, you cannot learn further. So that is very, very important. Come out of that mindset and go towards the success mindset, and take the responsibility of failure to make it a trail towards the success, and start correcting it towards getting placed. So when I'm talking about mindset, I'm just talking about that you open yourself and keep yourself high at the learning mindset. Go complaint free, as I shared just in pointed before. And while you are doing so, remain positive, and you can start by loading yourself with the gratitude. And that can happen when you start your day at real high of gratitude, by going receptive. How you can increase your receptivity? By following the audio track which has been shared with you, which is recommended by the speaker of that audio track, the Earl himself, that listen to it at least thrice in a week. But if you can't, at least listen every single day, at least once. And while you are listening, I know that few of you are listening, have you realized how powerful this audio track is, and bringing some unsaid and unnoticeable changes of positivity towards you every single day? Any one of you have realized that the power of this audio track? If you are listening every single day, you might have experienced.
Yeah, I guess so. That's the reason I started making the videos.
Thank you so much for being honest and sharing. So Prajakta, so awesome to know about it. Everyone, if you are not practicing, this is another code of honor you need to. In fact, not only me personally, every single day listen to this audio. In fact, I have various students who are following this. Okay, so if you are not, please do so. I know various people from the range of age of 18 to 80. You will be surprised to know this. Those are my students. They are following this every single day. They are listening, and they are noticing the positive change in their life towards their goal completion. Okay. And the second one is following the golden quadrant of learning, which comes with 4 steps. And it says that when you are starting your learning, start with the declaration. One missing thing I have been talking, that all declaration has to happen with the anchor. Anchor, let not your ship sink in, means it keeps your ship focused at one place every single time when someone else is speaking, and it's your chance, your thoughts is chance of your thoughts to get wandered and get lost in the ocean of the thoughts, ocean inside your brain. So always start with the declaration that keeps your mind continuously hooked into the content, into the delivery, and then follow your learning. Once you do on this step, when you started learning, then you can draw whatever you have learned within the 24 hours, and then go and sum it up. Okay, so when you are drawing, remember to draw with a pen or pencil. Don't use the typewriter or keyboard or something. So, and then when you have drawn, then definitely summarize it. Try to summarize in a way so that even a 5-year-old can understand. If you have mastered this art of summarizing, so that even a 5-year-old can understand, you have really come a long way in taking the command and control of your own future opportunity. Or this note, let me ask you, are we ready for the declaration for today? Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. So
Yes.
at the count of 3, we are going to set an anchor by clapping. That is a self high five. So, and then repeat after me the string, the sentence which is selected. So at the count of 3, we are going to set an anchor, that is self high five. 1, 2, 3, and go. And repeat. I am a quick learner.
I
I'm a quick learner.
What others can learn.
What others can learn.
And master, I too can do that.
and
And
master,
I too can do that.
And one more time anchoring. So at the count of 3, just repeat the self high five. 1, 2, 3, and repeat, because I'm an awesome learner.
because
I'm an
I'm
awesome
an
learner.
learner.
Today's learning is going to be super duper easy to me.
today's
Learning is going to be
super duper
super
easy to
duper
me.
easy to me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, it is going to be. And remember, while you are learning, remember to be a giver. Giver, which really opens the horizon of receptivity towards the learning. And why it does so? Because it keeps the ego away of knowing whatever you have practiced in point number 2 by your self research, and repeating whatever you have learned. So that somewhere keeps the ego strong, and that prevents some time in the learning. And that's the reason be a giver, which opens the mind towards the deep learning. And when you become spiritually inclined, that keeps you grounded as well on this path of learning. And remember, when you are learning, you have also a motto that to add some extra bucket of earning in your life. And when you are having this intent of extra earning, I would suggest, and I generally suggest to all the earners, that have an intent of giving away or doing a charity of at least of 5% or 10% of your earning. Why you need to do so? Because when you give, you grow, and when you receive, you may survive. So you can have an intent and start doing in reality at least whatever you earn of 5% or 10% of that to mosque, church, or temple, or wherever you believe in, to feed a hungry, or to anyone you think that it is will be a good cause to give away in some work. And appreciate that you are whatever you are doing and what others are doing for you, and even what doesn't happen to you. Okay, so while we have come over here, there is a universal law associated with this as well. It says that what you appreciate, that appreciates you back. So let us go back and learn what is there we need to explore today, and whatever we have learned so far. We have looked at business analysis model, activity diagram, mind maps, product roadmap, SWOT analysis, fishbone diagram, and process flow diagram. What are these? These models help into the depicting the processes inside the document. So yes, great articulation by Sneha. This I think today she shared a small summary on fishbone diagram, so you too can share the summary on whatever you feel like. And now we are entering to know these items, that is more in detail towards business analysis model, visual modeling, workflow diagram, entity relationship diagram, work breakdown structure, conversion to design, and documents template and understand. Okay, so yes, this model is to be continued. And because and today we will be learning something which has to do with QA. QA is quality assurance or testing. So first understand this visual modeling. What is this? So this is nothing but in layman term you can say that it's a graphical representation of object and system. And with models, we can focus on subset of information and identify patterns in our requirement, idea, and business process. Example, process flow diagram, business domain model, or entity relationship diagram, a UI wireframe, prototype, and mock-up that gives the relativity as well as establishes a relation between various models in one picture. While I'm telling you that, let me ask you that I told you one common thing in all the visual modeling. Do you remember? Who remember that? Let me ask you. Every design, maximum most of the time, that is one thing is common and the foundation is common. And what is that foundation behind these
Flow chart
diagrams?
diagram.
Exactly, you are right there. So this is the flow chart is the foundation of almost all diagrams. What you see, one of the diagram you are going to see. So what exactly happened? Let me ask you as a business analyst. So tell me this. The moment you identify some discrepancy between what client is asking and what exactly you have delivered. So what do you do that by after identifying the discrepancy? Somehow you are a business analyst and you observe, hey, what client has asked and what the developer has developed, there is some discrepancy. So what will you do?
To find the problem.
Yeah. So, but before finding the problem, what will you do?
Document it.
Okay, that's good. But what you will document? What
The
will you do?
errors.
The error. That's correct and very apt answer. Yes. So that is also called as reporting the error. You will report that error. And again, where will you report? Any other answer?
Product owner.
No. Where will you report? So I'm not asking who will report. Is where will you?
Stakeholder.
No, that's true.
Okay, you will report to stakeholder if you are saying, but a stakeholder is not going to fix it, right?
The developer.
The development
Yeah.
team.
Yeah. So developer, you will document it, but your document will remain with you. So how will you share with the developer?
Using a bug tracking tool.
Amazing answer. Yes, using a bug tracking tool, you are going to report that error. And do you know uh, how this error will flow in the bug tracking tool? That we are going to know using a diagram. Okay, so this is called as workflow diagram. And in this diagram, what we are going to look at, that life cycle of that bug. Oh, all right. So yes, let's know what is the defect life cycle, what is the bug life cycle. So the moment you report a bug, it could be you or a tester or anyone. So as a tester, generally, if you have found the error while testing things, you must at any point of time, whether you are a business analyst, whether you are a business owner, or whether you are a business user, what you are going to do is that identify that defect and report that defect. Find the problem and report that problem. And the moment you are reporting, the status will turn into new because it has to follow certain statuses. Okay. And the moment it turns into new, and it is reported, as the development manager, dev manager, it is also called as, that comes into the picture, and it asks three things. One, whether the defect is valid. Okay, it's really a defect. That is first. And second, whether it is in scope or not. So whatever the requirement gathering you have done, whether It is also matching with that. Okay, was I away? You were able to hear me clearly? Hello?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you so much. So somehow my screen flickered, so I thought I was not audible or what. So yeah, the second
Quick
thing,
question.
yeah, man.
What if it's a case of scope creep? Then what would you do in that scenario?
Okay, so can I answer this later? And you are going through this recording as well, right?
Yeah.
So you will come to know about this as well in the recording. So you can go through that. In case you still don't find it, you can definitely ask again this question. Okay, Amin. So
Sure.
right now I know that something will come to you as a part of new. So yeah, so that is the thing. Continue to also watch the recording. That is the reason sometime, few may find that if you are joining, one more is to join today or next time. So the person has been asked to not to join because she might have or earlier knowledge as well. So yeah, so let me complete this. So where I was, so yeah, whether it is in scope or not. So three things as a dev manager you need to remember. First, either it is in whether it is valid defect or not. Second, whether it is in scope or not. And third, whether it is duplicate or not. So what you are going to ask, check the validity, scope, and duplicacy. What you are going to check as a dev manager or anyone, validity, scope, and duplicacy. Is it clear to you? Even before reporting a defect, if you can check as a business analyst, that will be helpful for you. So is it clear till here, everyone?
Yes.
Okay, thank
Yes.
you. Thank you so much. So the very first thing is what? The moment you find that it is not valid, the defect gets rejected. From new, it goes to rejected. From new, when it is not in scope, it goes to deferred. From new, it goes to duplicate. The moment you find it is duplicate. Or in case you find it's a genuine bug, what is going to happen? It will be assigned to a developer, and the moment it is assigned, it becomes into the assign mode and it goes to developer for the fixing. The moment developer picks it up for the fixing, it turns into status of in progress. Is it clear till here, everyone? Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
everyone.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so the moment it goes under progress, and if it is fixed by developer, it comes into the status change, new, assign, in progress, and then uh, code fixed. And once it is fixed, then it is assigned back to tester. Okay, so when it is assigned back to tester or business owner or to the reporter, it can be into the ready to test mode. Okay, and when it is ready to test mode, then tester or who reporter will check whether it passes or fail. So depending upon whether it has passed or failed, if it is passed, it will be closed. If it fails, it will be reopened. And the moment it will reopen, it will be assigned back to developer. So quickly, if you want to see the kind of statuses is every defect undergo is new, and then assigned, and then in progress, and then fix, and from fix to either it goes to close or ready to test, and from ready to test it goes to close and to reopen. This is for any defect. So why you need to know? Because as a business analyst, you will be also doing this in one of the testing mode or one of the process, which is also called as UAT. Can someone tell me what is the full form of UAT? In the last session I have talked about it as well, not exactly in the last session, but in one of the session.
This
So
is
User
who?
user
acceptance.
acceptance
User
test.
acceptance test.
Yes, you all are right. It's a user acceptance test. So in either in user acceptance testing or SIT, that is the system integration testing, as a business analyst or at any environment or at any point of time, you will find people are reporting the defects, error, or bug, and they are reporting back to developer, and it has to undergo these processes. And sometime, in case you as a user report a bug, it will also go the same processes. So it should not come as a surprise to you when you are reporting. Is it clear, everyone? Can we move to the next?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you
Yes.
so much. So what we are going to look at is ER diagram, is entity relationship diagram, business domain model. So generally, this kind of diagram will be identified when you will be seeing there is a data flow. Okay, data flow from various relations of tables to another table. There are high chances that some data will be extracted from one table. So let's make it simplified. When I'll be talking about table, understand it's a kind of a cupboard fee. Okay, say for example, you are going to uh, uh, what you are going to do is that your intention is to take a garment out, or one outfit out from the cupboard for a kid. Okay, now you will have the various questions. The question can be on the color, question on the type, whether it should be formal or casual, question on whether it is formal and casual, then as a what type of clothing it should be, various question. Now while you have understood that there are various attributes of one cloth, so cloth is the parents subset, parents, and its attribute is the subset. Let's understand how it happens in a apparel store. So in a apparel, what is going to happen, say for example there is a software of it and someone demands about it. So the moment apparel comes into the picture, the first question, for whom it is required. Okay, the moment the question comes in, for whom it is required, then it comes to size ID and size code and size ID and size code, which can be sorted out, which can be kept in order. And for that, there should be a apparel size table. Okay, where you can sort it out what kind of size I should be focusing on. Are you clear over here? Any question on this, whatever I said so far? No?
No
So
All
question.
good.
No.
okay, now the moment you are sure that our focus should be at one size, okay, it could be L for large, or small, S for small, or XL for extra large, or double XL, or whatever, or means extra small or something like that, whatever it could be. So you now know that in which direction, or in which cupboard, or in which section of size now you should be moving and looking at. The moment you are sure of the size, now it has to withdraw the product. Now it will talk about what kind of product you are looking for. So product will have the product name and its ID, and again it can be sorted out, again it can be reordered. So the moment you are sure about the product, say for example the product could be t-shirt, the product could be shirt, the product could be blazer, the product could be anything. Okay, so the product could be a simple tie, uh, it could be anything when it comes to related to apparel. So the moment you are sure of the apparel size and you are sure of the product type, what you have to make sure of the color. Now what they are looking in which color, then you will turn towards the more narrowed, and you will try to identify the color details. That will also talk about the color ID, color code, and color name. Understand, for you, like color is important in the similar manner. In any application, the code is important, the identification is important for any such attributes. Okay, so wherever you will find any attribute, you will also find the attribute ID. So while we are sure about the size, while we are sure about the product, and inside the product we are sure about its color, we also need to be sure about the category. Okay, so category can be based on the brand, category can be based on style, and when you will consider that, automatically its ID will be known, and parent category of this ID will be known, and the name of the category would be. So while I am sharing with you that how your attention will go, but in application to grab this attention, in any software to grab such attention, what you will do to narrow it down, to filter it down. See, by putting your attention in every single section and every single detail, what you are doing, you are filtering it out. Do you agree with that? By following this, you are just filtering the selection. Are you with me so far, everyone? You are filtering it.
Yes.
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 So in the application, how will you filter? So these all things, these all information are stored in database. So these all information are stored in a database. So what you will do, you will run a query, and for running such query, you should be knowing that these information are stored in a table. The table name could be apparel size, the product, and the product category, or product color or categories. Okay, so these are the name of the table you will be able to find in a database. So when you have to filter the search and outcome, what you're going to do, you will be selecting some keyword or some attribute from that table. So what you will do, select the name of the attribute from the table. So attribute could be, you want to know the all the attribute. So what you would do, so select star. Star will represent the entire entire filter. So you want to have a look out the and look on the entire filter. The very simple thing is to type select star from the name of the table, and the moment you will select this statement, what you have written just now, I've said select star from the name of the table, and you will select it, you will run it. What the table in the database will do, it will brings out all the information which is sitting inside the table. Okay, so by in reality, in the store, you filter by looking in a direction, but inside application, how will you do, you will by triggering the query, asking the question to the database, and it will give you the result. How do you ask the question? By firing some query or by firing some SQL command. So one of the example of the command I gave you was select star from the name of the table. So is it clear for you, everyone? If yes, can move to the next. Yes?
Yes. Yes.
Gaurav,
Yes.
I would just like to add here something
Yes.
very generic, because nowadays SQL or basic SQL knowing is an add-on for every profile. So as Gaurav was explaining, select star means you are selecting everything from that table, and wherein you have some other conditions, like if you want to have some apparels only for kids below age of say 10, or if you want to have apparels or any data to be fetched only for ladies, gender specific, then you have condition. And when you mention select star, that means you're selecting everything. So the star or the asterisk sign stands for all or everything from that particular table. This is from SQL or database point of view. In future, if you want to learn more about it, we are, we can give you some guidelines. But just wanted to add this here with respect to
Yes.
ER diagram. Thank you, Gaurav.
Thank you. So as Prerna rightly said, you can that is how you can get all the information by using the star. But again, you can be still specific. Say for example, from apparel size, you want to know is size ID, you want to know size code, and you want to know sorting order as well. Then what you can do is that select star from apparel size, and if you want to become a very specific on size ID, okay, what you can say, that apparel size, and you are aware that size 20, the moment I'll query for the size number 20, I'll get to know the more details of it. Okay, so what you will do, select star from apparel size, where size code is equal to 20. So for the size code 20, if this table also comes with the color and all, it will give you. Or you can join this table and you can create a new query. Okay, so you can get into details of it, and for that there is a completely set thing. Generally, Prerna continues to give this example that whenever if you want to get into the detail of SQL query, you can definitely refer w3school.org, right, Prerna? Yes.
It's w3schools.com. It's
Okay.
W for the alphabet, 3 as a number. I'm just mentioning in chat. So
Okay.
this is for anybody who is inquisitor who want to learn more about SQL, very basic SQL. It's very interesting to explore this site because they have given very user friendly and easy to understand examples, and you can just play around with it and try to learn if you wish to.
If you wish to,
Yeah.
but in totality, you should be knowing at least one command in SQL to make your life easy. If you know this command, you can really learn everything, and you will come up with the confidence that you can crack any interview. You can win the half of the battle of getting interview, and that command is what? Can someone tell me what is that SQL command? Can someone tell me what is that one SQL command at least you should know as a business analyst? Yes, Prajakta, you feel like saying? You feel like talking? Radha, anyone?
The To
Yes,
retrieve the data from the table,
yes,
you can use the select star
yes,
to retrieve
yes.
all the information from the table.
Exactly, you are right here. So yes, this at least one query everyone should know how to retrieve the data from any table, that is select star from table. And we went into more detail of it, that by knowing some table detail, or some column detail, you can just type where this table or this keyword or this table's value is this. That is where the size id is equal to 20. I gave you the example. Similar, you can say that select star from color where color name is equal to green. It's as simple as that. While you have understood this database over here, understand that sometime customer may come and he can pick or purchase, but however its entry also happen. So when customer has bought a product, his name, address and contact are stored, but at the same time the order details are also mentioned, that is the order date and total amount of purchase he has done. And say for example we need to verify what the customer has done. So if you have the customer detail and you know the order detail, order amount and order date and order id, which is not over here, considering that some common table will be there, common attribute will be there. In order id you will see the what kind of product he has bought, what kind of color he has bought of that product, and what kind of size. And to re-verify this whether his purchase is right and authentic, you can get narrow down the details of these tables and you can re-verify that. Yes, do you understand? And what you are doing and the way it is represented over here, that inside product, the product color will be one table and the color will be one table. So that is establishing a relationship. Okay, so these are the entity of one table, these are the entity of another table. In the similar manner, there is a product category and category. So category is one table, product category is one table. There is a common thing into this. So in this table you will find the category id is common. In this table you will find product name or product id is common, or in product column color id is common. In fact, in product color and color table you will find that color id is column. So some entities are common, and that is establishing the relationship between two tables. That is why it is called as, entity relationship diagram, where different entities in boxes and its relationship has been represented. So some id can be common, some id can be unique between two different tables. Okay, so when it is unique, you can just remember when it is a unique, it's a primary key, and when it is reused in some other table also, it can be seen. That time it is called as a foreign key. Okay, so foreign keys have presence in the foreign tables, nearing table. However, the primary key is only once used. Okay, cannot be repeated, cannot be duplicated. Is it clear so far in entity relationship diagram? How in a diagram you can talk about two different, um, elements or two different values of two different container. To make it more simpler, how you can do is that, let's take another example of bank and customer. So customer will have his customer name, customer ID, customer details, customer date of birth, and his activity log could be today he has logged in, today he has logged out. But again, in the application, there could be a simple activity log table. Okay, and in activity log table, all the information of customer will be there. Say for example, in activity log table, customer ID will be there and activity will be there. So customer ID will represent what all the activity this customer ID has done. To know this customer ID, you will go to the customer table. Now customer ID can be into the customer table as well as in the activity table. So this customer ID can be shown as a relation between customer ID table as well as activity log table of that banking application. Do you understand this for that banking database? Is it clear? A little bit after this example I quickly gave you, that customer is common and customer will have the ID, and the same customer will have ID can be seen in the activity log. Activity log will talk about what all the activities you have done. So is it clear to you, everyone? So far, so good?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you
Yes.
so much.
Yes.
So this is how simple it is. This is how you can design an entity relationship diagram in this manner. So on this note, we'll be getting into the next slide and understand a visual model 3 UI wireframe mockup. So what happens when you design, um, uh, what you call, when you design a requirement document? Okay, so in requirement document, sometimes you also represent the look and feel of application. How will your application will look?
Gaurav, would you like me to have not take
Yes,
this slide and you can
yes,
continue? Please have
yes, yes,
some
definitely.
water. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, welcome. Yes, guys, UI stands for user interface, first of all, and wireframes simply means something that is in progress, but it will show you how the end result will look. Okay, how would I, try to put into words is simply before finishing something, you have that understanding of, like for example. When you are trying to build a house or when you see a blueprint of a particular building, do you see that all those diagrams, how they look? They are not in depth, but then you get an idea, okay, where the living room would be, where the kitchen would be, right? So that is like the first level it has mentioned here, that is low fidelity UI prototype. That means the current websites, for example, your Facebook, the google.com website or any other MSN, those websites before developing them, they had this kind of prototype, or they had this kind of word wherein wherein it was envisaged, or it was kind of planned how that site would look. Like for example, if we have to consider the Facebook example, on your login page, your display, or your that page, or that uh, no- your profile pic will be on the left hand side. The banner or the bigger picture would be on the top. Your educational, your professional details would be below the profile page. So when they created the prototype, they did not have all these pictures ready, but they kind of created the boxes or the design for that. So it was very easy for the developers to know, okay, this is why, this information I have to put here, this data I have to mention here, the college, or about yourself, or if any more details, the album section would go to the certain type in certain place. So even, and this is heavily used in architecture industry. Architects, you must have seen, guys, you have seen blueprints, right? Some or the other, or even internet, right? You know what is a blueprint? Yeses, I need some yeses, no.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes, yes, yes. Or
Yes.
even in your science or biology, you prepare some, diagrams, or it can be of heart, or it can be of amoeba. So that is not the actual thing, but you make, right? You draw it, that this is how it would look, or this is how it looks. Similar fashion, in software development life cycle, when we go for the initial kickoff meetings, or before the product is actually developed, before the software is actually developed, we show, or we try to present this wireframes to the customer or to the entire team. So these wireframe basically means this, right? Like a blueprint. The best or the scary word is skeleton. That means it will just give you a sacha. When we say how the mold would look like, so that is what it is. So there are particular variety of types in it. You have low fidelity, medium fidelity, and high fidelity. So this simply means, as the name suggests, low fidelity, wherein you just have a basic layout without any much details. It will be more of sketches, like you just have a square for a, or rectangular for a Facebook page. You can have a rectangular for where your DT would be. You can have some lines for where you want to have your information. So it will be very basic. Okay, it will be just like some lines here and there, and then you just have a basic rough idea, rough sketch, if you have to call it. Then sorry, a medium fidelity prototype would have some elements on the screen, but it would not be how it exactly looks. So basically, I'll give you some idea what happens in actual prototype process. You get some pictures on internet, or you get some some images which are very close to how the actual product looks. Going back to the example of a building or a house modeling, when you're trying to remodel your house or buying a new house, they show you some pictures, like, okay, if your wall is yellow color, you can have this kind of furniture, you can have this kind of windows, right? And they have a lot of different variety in it, right? Unless you choose one. If you guys have redone your house, or if you have been up in process of any family members a remodeling of houses, it's very common. When you go to one particular architect firm, they'll share you a lot of variety of designs. Okay, same room, maybe a living room, they can show in light cream color, beige color, maybe in yellow color, in whatever color. And as per the color, their theme, their background, their design, their furnituring, all that would change. Why I'm trying to give you this example is I want you to visualize how it looks. So I know it won't be that comfortable for you to visualize for a website, but yes, for a house remodeling or building, it is very easy. They might show you, we can have this particular wall painted. We can have some, I would say, frames or paintings on it. We can have a dining table here. Then you say, no, no, we want to have dining very close to the kitchen. Then they will change it. The flexibility. Have you ever worked with any of the architect, or have you seen this design in a magazine or something? How do they remodel any particular rooms? Yes or no? Anybody has on YouTube
Yes.
videos? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, they change the
Yes.
design as per your requirement. You say, no, no, I want my dining in my kitchen. No, I want an open kitchen. I want a closed kitchen. I want this balcony garden. So this is what we do in software development life cycle. So low fidelity will have a very basic prototype, very basic design. Medium might have some image here and there, but it won't be like realistic. Whereas high fidelity will represent exactly how your user interface simply means what you see on the website. Okay, so when you see google.com, you know that there is a search bar in between. There is some I would say a gif or some graphics on that page. You can have about us, feeling lucky, and things like that. You can change your languages. So that's like a wireframe. This is what it looks before developing. So yes, a business analyst is responsible for either for low fidelity or middle fidelity prototypes. So this is a good news for you. when you're working as a BA, you're not expected to create the website as as the final one, because there is a lot of discussions and post finalization will happen after that. But yes, you can be asked to make a basic wireframe, or how that application, how that page will look. If you want to create a login page, and how would you make it? You can have a box wherein you can ask for user ID, you can ask for password, and then you can have some links: forgot user ID or forgot password, or a new user, then create your account, right? You always do this by logging into Facebook or Gmail and all, right? Everybody is well aware of this login screen. Yes, no,
Yes.
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 yes. I barely could hear 3 4 yeses, whereas I have around 8 to 9 people. Others haven't.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes, thank you. Just wanted to take a confirmation. So this is what it is when I say a wireframe or a mock-up. Even now we have this mock-up test or practice test. So what are those? Those are the tests before your actual test. So you're preparing for the final test. So this is the mock-up or wireframe, which will give you a decent idea about how the actual product or how the actual software will look. Yes, Gaurav, over to you if you want to add something here, and open for all if you have any doubts on this.
Yeah, so on this point, it reminds me of the first question of Amin has asked. So yeah, definitely we'll get into the detail of that as well, because this will be the another right time where we can talk about it. So rightly asked, and yeah, for now, so I think we can go to the next slide, and you can continue about it, Prerna. So let me go to that one. Yeah, WBS.
Yes. Do you want me to take it?
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Yes. So WBS stands for work breakdown structure. I had experienced this quite a many years back when I was part of R&D Infotech and all, and that time we were working in Agile, and what we used to do, we used to get WBS for our work. So that simply means, like for example, in IT, we have many different teams, right? We have testing team, we have development team, we can have a team of BAs and all. So how do their work is differentiated, right? Tell me, what do you feel in a project if you have so many? The answer is in front of you, by the way. Just to get you started. In an IT on a team, if there are so many in IT project, if there are so many teams, and then how their work is differentiated on the basis of what?
By breaking down.
Yes, very well said. By breaking down. So how do we do that? See, imagine you have a project for retail website. Okay, it can be Amazon, Myntra, or any other website you have over there. Right? If I have to call it work areas, then yeah, can you each one of you read out the first line for me? Yeah, 1.0, 2.0, please.
A good work breakdown structure, WBS, includes only deliverables and activities. The best approach in WBS is placing deliverables at some.
How all the tabs, somehow all the tabs which were on has really minimized and shut down. Really not able to open them up. So
Yeah, it happens sometimes. Yep.
yeah, I'm still finding the way out, and I think I'll be coming back soon. But you can continue your explanation even if I'm
Yes,
not
yes.
hearing. Yeah, if you wish to.
So yeah, going back to that point, WBS. So you have project management, testing, development, analysis, and even marketing team would be involved. Research team would be involved with it if that's a scientific project, or with respect to R&D. So all these teams need to have a WBS. That means how would you log your work in the system, or how your work can be recognized or addressed, not even recognized, addressed. So you just can't go someone and start talking about whatever you're working. So that's why we have these codes wherein a development team is going given a code per se A1001, A1002, A1003. So everyone takes one code and they start working on that. So this is very easy from a project management point of view, and also very easy and important from billing point of view, right? So when the customer makes the payments for the project, or if there is a milestone based payments after each 2 months or 1 month and all, so they check which all WBS have been achieved or have been completed, right? So it's just like how we used to have assignment names, so maybe an essay or detailing, or mention some autobiography explanation. So similar way, you have this WBS wherein your work is defined, it has been categorized, and the same is communicated to the customer, and then the customer knows what all we are completing, right? So any doubts in this, guys? WBS?
Can I add something meanwhile, Prerna?
Please go ahead. Yeah.
So, wait a sec. So understand this way that your WBS is your WBS can also be known as an organization chart. So its look and feel is always like an organization. So that is what I just wanted to add. Let me know if you can see the screen. Yeah, can you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes, we
this
can.
is how it is.
Yes,
I am
exactly.
mentioning that a retail website is one kind of a project, and it has the various section: project management, requirement gathering, design and analysis, and site software development and testing and production. So what it has done, we can in fact the breakdown all those activity, what we need to break it down and see further what it could be the lower level of activity and immediate action plan. So since every task or every features or every step and phase has been given as identification like 1.0, 2.0, and so on. So for 4.1, it has been instantiated that for site software development, what you need to do it all is also about understanding HTML design and creation. Then it will have backend software, it will have graphic and interface and content creation. So then it has been broken down with the tag of the 4.0 only, and it's a next section towards 4.1, 4.2, 3, and 4. And further again, so every single box is what you see on the screen can be broken down further. Okay, while I'm explaining, let me also resume with the recording. So if I can. So, okay, I'll do it later. But meanwhile, you need to understand that this one, which is backend software, has been also further broken down on as subsets has been visible as a part of activity. That what all it will involve: database implementation they need to do, they need to do middleware development, security subsystem establishment and creation, and also catalog engine will be there, and then transaction processing system should be there as a part of backend software, and backend software will be as a part of site software development as a part of this portal website. Okay, this is as in whole. So this is how any thing can be showcased as a work breakdown structure. Even in fact, your entire project in the Jira can have this similar kind of pictorial representation as well, that you can showcase sometime if needed in the story. So do you get it about, do you understand about it? That how you can design a work breakdown structure chart. Yeah, can we move further?
Yes.
Sir, a
Yes.
question.
Yeah.
So we have come across different models so far, like the activity diagram, fishbone diagram, visual modeling, WBS. So in real-time scenarios, like, do we come across all the models, all the diagrams, or depends on the domain that we are working on?
So there are various factors. Understand this. Okay. And depending upon the factors, is what kind of a requirement is there, how well, you can define a requirement with the help of pictorial representation. That is also part of common sense. If you wish to establish, so say for example, if any website implementation or any application implementation, we have to showcase in a requirement document. And just now you have learned from Prerna about the mock-up design document, that is the wireframe document. So in a nutshell, you are anyway going to represent this in a pictorial form, that how this its UI will look like. In the similar manner, it's go with all with understanding. Say for example, you want to explain that how one thing will have say for example, one menu is there, and one menu has various sub menu, and every sub menu has a various sub menu, and so on. You can choose to showcase in this way, or you have also learned about mind map. You can also use mind map representation, and you can showcase them. So it's not hard and fast that you should be knowing. There are n number of modeling tool and models and visual models that is available. Not necessary you need to learn all and implement all, but just applying common sense, then and there you can decide which diagram I can create and continue to represent, so that it should be easily understandable by the user or the implementer. So does it answer your query?
Yes, sure. So one more question in continuation of this. So say, for example, every organization has their own template of creating a document, whether it is a business requirements document or functional specification document. There are different templates that you asked us to go through. So when they have, just like the templates, are these something that we follow from the previous work, or can we just use depending on the situation?
Okay.
Gaurav, you want me to take?
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
you can also.
So, yeah, thank you so much. So, very valid question. By the way, to answer this in a very practical manner, as you only have mentioned that all the organizations majorly have a quite a customized way of the documentation, right? Now, what we are learning or what is there on internet is the standard one, right? When I say a BRD, the certain elements, objective elements, diagrams, supervisors, or whoever is reviewing those documents, these kind of elements are specific to that document. But a particular organizations can have some additional elements, or can have some lesser elements. That completely depends on the organization. Even within an organization, your department level documents can also vary, not to a great extent, but definitely. And that call is taken by your particular department or organizations. To answer your question, yes, there is some level of customization, and that depends company to company. But do not get into that thought process that it will be something alien wise or something very different. No, it is very close to what standards we are learning here for BRD, FRD, any particular diagram. The details can minutely change here and there. So does this answer your question?
Yes, Prerna. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Yeah. Gaurav, over to you.
I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
The user stories that we were talking about, are these breakdowns that we see over here in the chart an example of the user story?
You know what? It's not mapping of any functionality. It's kind of from generalization, you're going to specialization. So when you see this work breakdown structure, right, you can see. So if we have taken this example of designing, so your user stories, if that user story is quite small, that can be one WBS. But if it is a larger or bigger user story, that can be broken down into multiple WBS and assigned to multiple team members, right?
So user stories will be more specific.
Yes, users. See, I'll tell you. For example, I'm just thinking about which example, which example to give you. So yeah, if we are
Maybe like
going,
we can means I can say like user stories are like what user wants in their like UI frame, and the WBS chart is for like those who are working on that project, is something like that?
Yes, so basically a user story, what she's mentioning that they want, Aparmita is asking, that's right. My only answer is, see, depending, a user story can be of few lines or it can be of a entire page, okay, just for your visualization. Okay. Uh, Tell me the user story or the work involved in making a jeera rice or a plain rice. As it same as making a biryani? Imagine a plain rice and a biryani are user stories. Do you see the difference in them? The difference of
Mm-hmm.
efforts, the difference of preparation, right?
Yes.
So if
Hmm.
if if there is a, so similarly, if there is a simple task like preparing only plain rice, that can be one WBS and only one person can very well do it, right, within given time frame, because it's a smaller task. But then if I have a WBS of preparing Chinese or biryanis or any in detailed pulao per se, which would require a lot of efforts, lot of vegetables cutting, lot of meat or what of preparation, whatnot, marination and stuff. So you would have those many tasks. So coming back to your question is, depending on the size and intensity or the work involved in a user story, we have WBS. So certain user story can have rather one or two or few. A bigger user story containing many activities and many tasks and many workable items can have multiple WBS. Does this answer your
Okay.
question?
Okay. So user story will be further broken down into WBS
Yes,
charts.
depending on its
Okay.
complexity and its intensity or in its work involved, right?
And
Yes.
I just want to add, so and it is not necessary that user story has to be broken down into work breakdown structure. Understand what you are learning over here is about the visual modeling, UI modeling, and also about graphical representation of some process. Go back to the thing what where we have talked about that depicting a process through design. Okay, so we are designing something uh, we are designing something to represent something. Okay, so this is how it is. Say for example, if you have to show that a hierarchy, so that hierarchy using breakdown structure also you can showcase. In the similar manner, what is the higher functionality and below that what all the functionality is there, that you can showcase in the work breakdown structure. Imagine that there are a huge epic, and the epic is broken down in a smaller user story that you can in sprint planning meeting you can create such chart and you can talk about that. Hey, this is the project and this is the project backlog items, and from this backlog item this is coming up in the this sprint, or say for example we have divided this project into these many sprint, and every sprint will have this backlog item, this backlog item, this backlog item. These backlog item has these many user story, this, and these story have these activities and these feature and these task and subtask. Everyone is clear on this? Everyone would say yes, I have got to know that project has how many
Yes.
sprint and how many sprint has how many backlog item and how many backlog item we have organized, and how every organized backlog item has user story and a feature and activity and subtask and task. Clear?
Absolutely
Yes,
clear, sir.
yes,
Thank you
yes,
so
Yes.
it's
much.
very clear.
Thank you. So yeah, let's move to the next one. So conversion to design. So Prerna, can I take from here? You?
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So conversion to design is another model. So every communication needs to be designed. Yeah. So this is how it is. I have never done it in this batch. Let me do this. So for doing it, what is going to happen? Let me ask you that something. And I would try to cover the question what Amin had asked. So Amin, can you repeat what you had asked the question at the starting? It is something related to scope creep,
Scope
right?
creep.
Yeah. So what was the question? Can you repeat it? Because I remember that somewhere I had answered it, but not sure it was the same batch. So that's why I'm just taking the opportunity to answer it
Now,
again.
basically, if it's an error, but it's a scope creep. So technically, it's not part of the scope right now, but later on it can be.
Yeah. So ask me the question. What was the question?
But basically, you are talking about documenting errors. So if it's an error, if it's within the scope, we move ahead. But if it's outside of the scope, then we reject the error in part of the UAT.
Yeah, so not necessary. So as I say that when defect is there, so it is not always if it is not scope, it is deferred, it is not rejected. Okay, so it is called as deferred. Do you understand? Deferred means somewhere in the future
Yeah.
we will attempt it or we will address it, and not necessary that we will bother to do it. That is number one. Number two is that when the moment we are talking about scope creep, okay, what we do, whether we will attempt it or we will just defer it, it's all up to us. But remember, the bottom line for scope creep is that, so understand what is the scope creep first. So scope creep is nothing but something which is, you can call it as, understand it that this is something, again, the creepy thing that may come into the project in between. So this is something uh, something which has to be avoided. It requires to be prevented, but sometimes you cannot, because it remains the part that you are addressing the scope, and suddenly something comes up. You find the urge of implementing it. Okay, so that time customer may come up and he or she may say that, hey, I think this is the necessary requirement and you must implement it. So for that, clear communication is very important, that you are going to have established with your stakeholder or customer, that for such kind of scope creeping, that every project generally start with a contract, you understand. So for contract, contract is for clear communication, that you are knowing that in case something comes into the picture, whether you are going to adjust them or not, depending upon its priority, whether you can change it or not. And again, the rights goes with whom, to change, accommodate, or alter, or discard. Who will have that right? Any idea?
Product owner.
Stakeholder.
Exactly, product owner. It's product owner. I mean, so he will decide whether to keep it, accommodate it, because that is based on the clear communication through the contract. And based on this contract, you also always have a backup plan as a product owner. Okay, so backup plan is another stuff. Okay, so if something fails, something is not working, what you need to accommodate, what you not, how far you may go ahead in accommodating something, addressing something. So that is called as backup plan, crystal clear communication through contract. And also always reminding these things in a kickoff meeting. Okay, so kickoff meeting, where sometimes customer is also involved. Kickoff meeting generally may happen before and during sprint one of the sprint planning meeting. Okay, so that is one thing. Now understand, so if you are taking this, that this is a part of process, okay, part of flow. Also, it is very important that when you have discussed kickoff planning, backup plan, and crystal clear communication, again remind this thing to the customer that this is what we have signed off. And even if you have not signed off, you may refer to it. So that kind of a reminder should go to your customer. That is fourth element. And the fifth one could be that sometime you might have to come up to say no. You must come to say no. Every time you can't say yes to everything, which sometimes is not possible. Say for example, there is one person or one good friend of you is there, where you have a good family relation, and because of your friend, you always respect the elders in their home. And when you move towards your home, someone, the grandpa of your friend or someone in the family, ask you to bring down something tomorrow, while you are coming. Okay, and every time you feel like, okay, bringing something, and because it is requested and you say that okay, that is in the on my way, I can bring it out something, but you realize someday that the demand is there, but for bringing them out you need to go out of the way. Okay, out of the way, that is not your own way towards your friend. Okay, towards your friend, friends of it is not there. So do you think turning towards the out of direction and then moving to goal is the right thing? No. And that is the time you should come up saying that is an oh no. Okay. So why I'm sharing this all with you? Okay. So someone is feeling tired. I know. I don't know who is that. So so yes, if you are feeling tired, we have come to the end although. So again, keep the option open should be the next item, that you should be always open for the feedback, and this kind of establishment of the communication has to be the part of the contract. So this is how you can prevent the communication. Okay. And while I was doing so, can you tell me now what I was doing? When I was explaining something, I was scribbling something, and I was means trying to tell you. So can you tell me what I was doing?
Visual modeling.
So it is called as a visual thinking. Okay. So visual design, it is also called as. Okay. So while I was thinking, I was sharing the design with you. Okay. So it did not happen in the exact way, the way I want. Okay. And at the same time, I answered about the scope creeping as well. So scope creeping has to be prevented, but generally it is experienced and it happens. So is it clear to you as well, Amin, now?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So this is what we were talking about, the leap towards the visual thinking. So visual thinking, I did is not even a person, because I was just using whiteboard to do so. But when you will be doing brainstorming and doing it along with your team inside a room, you can have the whiteboard, you can have the beta modeling tool, you can be sharing some design into visual modeling. There are various cloud application which can be shared at a time. There are 10 or 5 or 3 or 2 users can come together and continue to design something new. So is it clear how important the visual thinking is? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so remember we have talked till visual thinking, and we have very few classes left. That is maximum up to 4 or 5. Okay, one will be the kind of a workshop. So and after that we will get into some question and answer session. And I'm glad, I mean, the way you are coming up with the speed and you are able to understand. I hope this was helpful for you. And if yes, would like to hear from you one word which you would like to say in terms of what do you feel like saying? What is your feeling?
Interesting.
Interesting. And was it easy also for you to understand?
Oh yeah,
Right?
very easy.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you
yes.
so
So,
much.
I mean,
Absolutely.
definitely, the kind of pace you have for understanding is really recommendable. Sincere appreciation for you, because you just heard the recordings and you're definitely at par, with the understanding, and you have been very interactive as well. So definitely a very nice gesture, and I'll just request to go ahead, keep it up, and looking forward to have some videos from your side as well, because if you can see on the group, all the ladies, they have been so super enthusiastic, and just preparing videos on the latest topics. So yeah, looking forward for your videos as well. And once again, thank you so much for being so proactive, if I have to say that
Hmm.
way. Yes,
True.
over to you.
So by the way, do you understand the meaning behind and the intent behind the summary video? Have you understood so far?
Yeah, logically, I'm thinking that you want us to be like open and be able to speak to the
Not only
what do you
that,
call vendors and
understand
stuff.
understand the golden quadrant of learning. It's not only about you opening up and sharing that and building the confidence. Also, when you follow what you learn with before declaration and after declaration, before summarizing, this is a sincere request to every learner that you draw that, and after drawing, go to summary. The more you will practice this as a flow, the new learning will be that will retain for longer. So this is make your memory dendrite connection stronger. This is the complete process you need to follow. Okay, and thereby the more authentic you will sound, and then the more marketable you will be. So I hope once again it is clear why we are focusing on bringing the summary from you. Yes. So if it is yes, Amin, so you can call out a name on the screen.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
You can call out a name you see on the screen.
On the screen?
Yeah.
Prajakta.
Prajakta, what do you feel like saying, Prajakta? Prajakta, you there, right? Your voice was very, very low when you started. Okay, we'll come back to you, Prajakta. Meanwhile, I saw that Sharda had raised her hand and then lowered it down. So, Sharda, do you have any question?
We were talking about brainstorming. So can you be more clear about that once again?
Okay, so sometime it may happen that you randomly pick a point and you are deciding to, deciding to brainstorm upon that, and you are designing something in a pictorial form. Some pictorial representation is happening. You are collecting everyone's data. So that can happen in a boardroom. That is number one. Number two, at the same time, you are on a call, in a Zoom call, say for example, and today everyone has got the cloud application access. Okay, so say for example, Visio is the tool, and on cloud, so three business users or three business analysts are coming together, and they are trying to apply their thinking. And the cloud application Visio has 3 pages. One page is dedicated to user 1, another page is dedicated to user 2, and another page is dedicated to user 3. And together what they are understanding, they have picked up the one tab, one page of that, the same file of the Visio modeling, and they are designing what they are learning in a live session, or live brainstorming session, or collecting the data. And the best one they can choose to freeze and to use in any of the document or in a presentation, if sometime it comes to the before requirement finalization in the talk with customer. So this was a random example I was sharing, that how you can continue to do visual thinking even when you are using the any other diagram tool. So does it answer your question? What did you miss, Radha? Sorry,
So,
Shraddha? Yeah.
so what you're saying is this is a requirement gathering technique, right?
Not necessarily always requirement gathering. Yeah, you can use it for requirement gathering, because requirement gathering, the very first step is that roughly you continue to take a note. Okay, so definitely you can use that as well, but not hard and fast. I just gave an example of visual thinking, how you can accommodate while you are visualizing and while you are thinking. Combine them together and continue to design somewhere on some design too. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's move to Sneha. Sneha, you have some question, and I'm
Yes,
afraid you'll have to repeat. Yeah, Sneha, go ahead.
yes, sir. Actually, I want to ask that I was watching some video. So they were saying the prototyping and wireframes are very close. So just wanted to know that the prototyping it precedes wireframe. Hello?
Uh, yeah, can you repeat? What did you say?
Yeah, sure, sir. Just I was watching some video and they were like put a prototype and wireframe explaining together.
Mhm.
So just wanted to know that this prototyping precedes wireframe.
Prototype, what did you say? Prototype?
Precedes, it's come before the wireframe, it's a phase before the wireframe.
Okay, so let me understand. What do you understand by prototyping?
I mean, prototyping is just you have a sketch of some idea, drawing
Okay.
the sketch of some idea you have in your mind before going and building something.
Okay. All right. And what you have understood by wireframe?
The wireframe I didn't understand much, but it's like you're putting some functions in the prototype. You're adding some features to that. So
So to let you answer, you can decide what will come first or not. So understand the prototyping will have the structure and the content ready. Okay, content and structure will be ready. However, prototype will come with the basic layout.
okay, so wireframe will have a content and structure ready.
Yes. No, no, no. Wireframe is basic layout. Okay. Prototype will it will come with the content and structure both. Is it clear? So in a wireframe, when you are going out, we are talking about wireframe. You understand the layout. You know even the functionality. Okay. So you can scribble that. You can design that in your document. The moment prototype is coming, you are going in the detail of it. Okay, so almost everything is ready, but it is really not live, but ready to represent. Okay, so you can consider that a wireframe will be just before prototyping. Do you get it?
Okay,
So
so wireframe will proceed and that will come before the prototyping.
yeah, because the basic layout is known, the all basic things are known. However, the prototype will be um, more solid, more stronger. So the faded version of prototype can be called as a wireframe.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So Ruby has some question. Ruby.
Yes, sir. So maybe my understanding on this is, wrong or something. But what I'm trying to understand is that how do all these kind of visual modeling and everything like fit into the agile environment? Because when I'm looking at like certain, models that we kind of went through,
Mhm.
where agile, at least Scrum, like is completely focused on user stories and like
Mm.
slicing them down to kind of, like the thinnest portion. All this kind of documentation and making these this last one, the WBS and all that we went through in a team of just like
Mm.
5 people who are just kind of quickly in a sprint planning meeting picking up, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and it's done. Where does all this kind of fit into that agile environment? And is this like more towards the waterfall?
No, no.
They use it more in waterfall. Yeah.
Okay, interesting question and
I'm
honest
sorry, this is
question. No, no, no.
completely confusing me.
No. That's good. You
Actually,
asked. Yeah.
I have a question similar to that, what
Mhm.
she asked just now. It's like business analyst role is like a business analyst is a person who serves as a bridge between it's like the users and the IT, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
how is it different from a Scrum Master role? And like after we learning about business analysis, how different should we behave from a business analyst and to Scrum Master? Like
Okay,
these
that's
changes.
interesting question.
Yeah, Gaurav,
That's
can I
inter
take this? Can I start this, please? Because it's really
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, you can go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. You can continue definitely. Okay, so just let me answer this with a question. Do you think the school monitor, class teacher, and principal are the same roles?
No.
Right.
No.
So, as a team member, as a BA, then as a Scrum Master, as a class teacher, and as a product owner, as a principal. So they see you as a class monitor. Tomorrow, if you become a teacher, you can definitely become a class teacher, right? But as of now, when you're a school monitor or you're maybe part of your students team or leader from your student side, your roles and responsibilities are different from a school teacher or a class teacher. And a class teacher is normally a bridge between the principal and you. So the principal being a product owner, they have higher responsibilities, higher view where they talk to management, they talk to other schools, they talk to government. Whereas a school teacher, as a Scrum Master, they majorly deal with you. Your attendance, your exams, your results, your performance, how you're doing it and how you're completing it. So similar fashion, as a BA, you can definitely become a Scrum Master and Product Owner in as your future grows or as if you want to go ahead. But as far responsibilities are concerned, those are different, right? So as a BA, you have a definite set of activities, discussion with the customers, discussion with internal teams, preparing documentation. As a Scrum Master, you are one of the team member from them. As a BA, Scrum Master has multiple team. They have all the mix of team. They have to manage developers, testers, and be in communication with product owner. So these three roles are separate. Definitely, as you grow in your career, as you learn, as you go ahead, you can go to each and every level or each and every role. But as a role, as a responsibility wise, they are all different and they have their own specialization. So this
Okay.
was my take on this. Gaurav, you can
Yes.
definitely add,
So,
please.
so let me ask you this question. The moment I'll ask that you all are bubbling with the question, say for example, and I'll ask that let's go one by one. But still, it may happen that everyone would like to come first and come together. No one wants to come later. Okay, so no one wants to go later. So what exactly happens? So even despite I said so, did you follow what I said? No. And this is a normal example. This is one of the example. Second, in every election, some ministers come in, they promise something, and they want to create a protocol of it. Okay, does it really happen every time? The answer is no. And do you agree on this, everyone? You might be agreeing on this. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So what exactly happened? We talk about agile, being Scrum. Scrums come with responsibility and certain set of values. Scrum Master is not supposed to do or take any other activity. He is proudly known as a servant leader. Why he is proudly known as servant leader? Because his only focus is to serve in a way that no hinders will come on the way. Okay, no hinders will be seen. So but really it is digested by the higher team. No, with this poor role, what comes into the picture? You agree as a scrum code of honor or scrum value and scrum principle and even scrum body of knowledge, together all the scrum followers will agree that hey, we will be just taking the roles and responsibility of scrum master, but we won't follow that. Today, even if you go on the LinkedIn, you will find that various agile coaches are there, scrum teachers are there, and they are still emphasizing on the do's and don'ts of the scrum master. Despite that, this is the organization. Okay, organization come with a lot of expectation. So the moment, the same question I will go to, the moment it is asked that hey, you should be knowing XYZ and you should be knowing this skill and that skill and that skill, and someone from you in from the HR background, won't you be happy in taking such candidate who has the various technology skill, who has the various knowledge? You will definitely say yes, I want to hire it. And this is what is going today in the market. So market, you are getting hired as a scrum master or business analyst, and the moment you know everything, and generally it happens with the business analyst, that business analyst is given some task to do as a scrum master, but there is a very hard line that business analyst has to focus just on business analyst and business analysis, and scrum master has to on his scrum duties. But that doesn't happen always. Okay, this is what the poor girl has started facing, Anila. Okay, she joined as a business analyst, but some scrum master task she is also dealing with. Okay, you all know because she had joined it in the past about her. So what is happening, try to understand. So that time these organization don't exactly follow the scrum and agile. Okay, so that time you come up with the few honest organization will try to follow the scrum, but they are not exactly agile, and they will declare this, and some of the leader come forward and say, hey, we will be not doing this activity because we are just partially using scrum to complete our project, and we are not totally following the agile. Okay, and they will be upfront and they will say, and that's the reason sometimes there is no bondage on the sprint or something. So we are just going in the hybrid mode, and that's the beauty of agile. Okay, so agile always gets adopted by the hybrid. Okay, and that's
I
the
have a
reason.
question here.
Yes.
So if you're saying that we are partly following like it's a hybrid model,
Mhm.
so how different should I behave to that of a Scrum Master like in a hybrid model? So
Okay,
what
so
things can we take from business analyst, and what things can we take from a Scrum Master role, and how different should we behave
so
there?
you should understand yourself as a leader taking the response. Sometimes you may say that even product owner is taking with you in some kind of a minutes preparation or something like that. So you know that, see, the thing is what, you have two choices. Let me be very honest with you, and I'm not talking about, even though it is going on the record, I'm not talking about that about the role. Now I'm talking about organization centric. Okay, so some organization who hire a scrum master and don't follow agile, and who follow business analyst or product owner and still don't follow agile at the T. So what exactly they do, they club the role together, and they understand. So the question may come up like that: if this position is for a scrum master, why he is asking me the kind of a question which has to do with business analyst? Now who is in need this time? Not only this hiring manager, but you as a candidate also in the need at the same time. Do you agree with this, Shada? Because when it is coming to question, so you
Yeah.
have two choices: either you skip up and don't go ahead into the interview system. That is one. Number two, despite that, continue to tell that, hey, I'm ready to take the responsibility, I'm ready to work sometime, I'm ready to stretch sometime, I'm ready to deliver high quality value at this time. And that becomes the trap where a core scrum master also end up behaving in and taking the more responsibility of scrum master and business analyst and product owner sometime together, and he become one point of contact, and he will be tagged with some different position. Okay, so this is how this culture, which is not really appreciable, is happening inside IT world today. Okay, and many of, and still they say, when your question was about the hybrid, how you are going to behave, you are going to behave towards the delivery centric. So ultimately agile's focus is that fast delivery, so your focus should be fast delivery as well. Okay, but still with the understanding of agile, with the understanding of scrum, and with the understanding of your roles and responsibility. And that is when before even interview the JD comes into the picture. That is what all you are expected to do. And when you have these knowledge, who does what, and sometime organization after getting you onboarded requested you that, hey, can you do these all activity, and you can't say no. Do you agree with it, Sharda? You still there on the screen? I see you.
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. So Tejaswini, quickly, yes, we are running out of time.
So,
We
sir,
have
in
gone beyond. Yeah.
yeah, I'll make it very quick. In connection with what just Sharda mentioned, like I came across this requirement a few days back, where the requirement was for a Scrum Master, but in the job description, they clearly, like, they needed 4 years of Scrum Master with 14 years of business analysis analyst role, roles and responsibilities. So, like, just like how a Scrum Master cannot be a product owner, can a Scrum Master be a business analyst, and can they take up the both the roles at once?
Okay, in a different project to answer you.
Yes, yes.
Okay, but again, if it is breaking the agile rules, and you have to continue to do your job, it's your responsibility how you want to take the rules. Tejaswini, did I answer you?
Yeah, I
Actually,
mean, you pretty much
after you
answered
have
with Sharda's question. Yeah.
actually after you have started business analysis classes, doubts started popping up like how we should start behaving, whether as scrum masters or whether as business analysts. Like these were the doubts, and
Yeah,
they're very well cleared now.
yeah. Thank you so much,
I
Shada.
second you on that, Sharda. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
and that's the reason the combination of this came up together. That be agile scrum. It's not be a separate and agile scrum separate. Okay, so because this is how the organizations are heading towards the candidates. Yes, Ruby, back to you. If you have some question, your hand is raised. Okay, so no problem, Ruby. You need to drop out and quickly Prajakta if you are there. So one word
Hello.
from you quickly. Yes, Ruby.
No, sir. I was just like waiting for my
Okay, no
question to
problem.
be
So
answered.
Ruby, so that is answered. So Ruby, if you are speaking up, so yeah, in this intense conversation, tell me one word which comes in your mind. What do you feel like saying?
It's beginning to get like more clear, but yeah, I want to know a little bit more about like, how all this kind of fits into the agile environment, because as I said, like I'm not able to kind of, picture exactly like, how we're going to be using all these, mind maps and things like
Okay,
that.
okay. Yeah, so coming
Yeah.
back to her question, Ruby, good you reminded it. So understand every user story will just not come with a line. Sometime you need to also upload some pictorial representation. Say for example, DB is communicating with something. Okay, so DB means database, going back to apparel store. So if you want to say you have written a user story about the means identifying or extracting the data from a product category, and what you have done, you have created a pictorial form and you have just circled it that this time we are talking about product category. You have written the user story along with that, but at the same time in the same user story in Jira or in a project management system, you have attached the image as well. Okay, the singular image. So this is how you are assisting every user story with the design and with the picture. So picture will not go away. When if you are thinking that it is getting thinnest and there won't be any use of picture, no. So thinness will be there, one liner will be there, user story, but still image can support it. And every time you'll find that business analysts are and business users and client are giving the images and pictorial representation that gets attached to the requirement. Even in the broken user story, that is a form of requirement. Did it answer you, Ruby?
Yes, because when you said this, now I realize that, even when we create those user stories in Jira, I think they have this box down where, they give you like a tab to attach,
Exactly.
another, file. And I think, is that what you are kind of referring to?
Exactly,
Is that where
exactly.
we can put that mind map or,
Yes.
this WBS? Okay, got it,
Exactly.
got it.
So yes,
Thank
Ruby.
you.
So now finally come with one picture and let's take some question later. Thank you so much. Or you can just ping me, or if it is just shortest one, you can ask.
No, it's clear now that I mean, you said this, so I've seen this in Jira, so I know where this goes now.
Okay, okay. So Ruby, one word.
Thank
What do
you.
you feel like saying?
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Thank you. Call out someone's name on the screen. You see, Ruby. Call out someone's name you see on the screen.
Sharda.
Sharda. Sharda. What do you feel like saying?
It's more clear.
More clear. Take one name from the screen, please.
Neha.
Sneha. Sneha. What do you feel like saying?
As usual, revision.
Revision. Okay. Call out someone's name on the screen. You see.
Radha.
Radha, what do you feel like saying? Okay, Radha is not visible, I think, on the screen. So take out some other's name, Sneha, please.
Disha.
Disha, Disha, what do you feel like saying?
Interesting.
Interesting. Call out someone's name on the screen, you see.
Aparmita.
Apamita, Apamita, what do you feel like saying?
Very intense.
Very intense. And call out someone's name on the screen, you see.
Tejaswini.
Tejaswini, Tejaswini, what do you feel like saying?
Well, trying to break down Scrum and BA and sink in new topics and terminology.
Sinking in. Okay, follow someone's name on the screen, you see.
Prajakta.
Prajakta, are you audible? Can you speak up? And what do you feel like saying?
Yeah, it's more clear and just, yeah, of course, I need a revision.
Okay, revision. Okay, call out someone's name on the screen you see quickly.
Prerna?
Prerna, over to you.
Yes, thank you so much. So all in all, a very super interesting and super interactive session, and I hope that everyone has got their doubts cleared, and definitely do revisit the video because this is a lot of discussions we've had today. So all in all, a superb session. Over to you, Gaurav. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, and we'll talk again on Sunday. And there are multiple recording happened, so the upload will take time, maybe a complete day or more than 24 hours, because we'll have to merge them together. Okay, so on this note, I wish you all the best. Continue to work and summarize and share your summary. And yeah, we are coming gradually towards the end, but before the end, you will experience a workshop as well. So thank you so much.
Definitely.
And
Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank
Bye-bye.
good night,
you.
everybody.
Night,
Good
everybody.
night.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.